Hi there and welcome to the Gazette's weekly Hockey Inside Out show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette and I'm very happy to be joined this week by three former Canadiens who were part of the 1986 Stanley Cup team, Chris Nilan, Rick Green, and Brian Skrudland. Well, the Canadiens are one win away from advancing to the second round of the playoffs after beating the Lightning 3-2 Wednesday night in Tampa, with Game 6 set for Friday night at the Bell Center. Brian, what impressed you most about that win in Game 5?
Big team, little me. Starting off with Brendan Gallagher. How can we not make a comment on that fella after the start? And we all knew that what he was capable of doing, but that's almost a dream game for a guy like that that's missed 4 in a row, and here he is making such a big impact. But I think everybody just played to their strengths last night, and we, of course, got some great goaltending as we've been getting throughout the playoffs. So, yeah, it was a very impressive game. Tessier turned into Messier for a minute, and that was absolutely awesome as well. So, lots of great things happened. And as we talked about, that last couple of minutes was probably about as intense a hockey as we've seen, and as exciting hockey as we've seen. So, hopefully, we got that in Game 6 as well.
Well, Knuckles, it looked like Marty St. Louis had perfect timing putting Brendan Gallagher back in there.
Yeah, it was nice to see him get back in the lineup. Listen, the other kid has struggled a little bit, right? Kapanen has struggled. And, I don't know if that's got to do with the length of the season for him, long season, the intensity of the playoff. But, you know what you're going to get for Brendan. He's going to net. He's going in the corners. He's going to battle. Yeah, is he as quick as the cat he used to be when he was younger? No, but he'll get there. And God, what a way to start. As far as being impressed, Dobesh again, 38 saves. Come on, 40 shots on net. But I'm going to go back to that line. Kirby Dach, Texier, and Bolduc. Come on. They have 12 points in 5 games. The big line has 1, right? They got 1 goal. In the power play. Like, if they don't have that secondary scoring, something that they complained about during the season, right? Everybody was complaining. They don't have depth scoring. And now it's coming through at the most needed time of the season in the playoffs. So that's a story right there. Kirby Dach and Messier, Texier, whatever screwy call them, for sure. Like, those guys, man, they're stepping up to the plate in a big way. That's huge for the Canadiens.
Well, before the series, I was the only one of this group who actually picked Tampa. I had them in 6th. Thankfully, I'm wrong. One of the reasons I thought was the goaltending, but Dobush has outplayed Vasilevsky in this series. And Rick, I mean, that with Brendan Gallagher going in there, was that maybe a spark the team needed?
No question. You knew, I think, and everybody knew what he was going to bring, and it didn't take him long to make it happen. And of course, he's a classic example of the type of guy and an indication of play that everybody feeds off of. And I like to say, in looking at that game overall, I was really impressed with their discipline as a group. Their neutral zone play was outstanding. They made it really difficult for Tampa to generate anything through the neutral zone, and really held the line well when it came to any of the entries. And they, each and every guy knew and were committed to that team game, and everybody really played well. And aside from, the one odd man rush, they're not giving any real bad turnovers. They're playing very, very good as a group, and really tight. And you can see the excitement in their faces that they're really happy with what's going on. And it should be one hell of a game on Friday.
Well, Brian, I mean, they're up 3-2 despite getting no production 5-on-5 from their number one line of Suzuki, Caulfield, and Slavkovsky, and Marty split them up last night. How do you explain how they're not able to produce in the playoffs after they had such a great regular season?
Well, that's the thing about the playoffs, and I think Knuckles hit it right on the head. There's that secondary scoring that is so important, and that third wave of scoring and the fourth wave of scoring. I mean, everybody's got to chip in now. It's that time of year We even saw a tighter game within Philadelphia and Pittsburgh last night at 1-0. And you're going from, 6-1, 6-2 games to all of a sudden 1-0. So it's that time of year. Guys are chipping in, doing whatever it takes, and hopefully we've got a few goals left in us for Game 6.
Knuckles, it looks like with Cole Caulfield, they're obviously being really physical on him. And do you think what does he need to do to sort of break out of this?
Listen, here's the deal. We can point them out, this line, and sure, they've been scoring all year. They had a great season, 50 goals, 100 points. But let's give Tampa Bay some credit. This is an experienced, very good hockey team. And every time this coach gets an opportunity, he matches against them. And they have a system where they're, we heard about the dreaded trap back in the day, but they have a system where they put two wingers down on the defenseman when they're coming up with the puck, and everybody else steps up. So as soon as that pass is made, the coverage is there. You get the puck, someone's in your face. They are all over them, everywhere, in their own zone. And quite frankly, on the power play, they have that one power play goal by Caulfield. The Tampa Bay does not sit back. They're not passive in the penalty kill. They're aggressive. They're on you. They rush you, and it's worked for them. So, as difficult a time as that line has had, I can see why.
Rick, you're always saying, you're one of your favorite lines, never trust the forward. Philip Deneau did not leave the ice for the last 3 minutes and 31 seconds of last night's game. I mean, I think we're seeing why Kent Hughes gave up a second-round pick to get him. This is exactly what he was hoping to get.
That's so true. I mean, we know from previous years what Deneau is all about. That's his thing. Similar to the screwy type guy, always in the way and blocking shots and hoping that it doesn't hit him. But
No.
but no, Daniel, right from the face-off circle to his intelligence and knowing and anticipation of what's going on out there and trying to eliminate good scoring chances, protecting those critical areas, blocking shots, doing all the things that are so important to have winning ways. And he's a great example of what needs to be done, and he does it each and every night.
Does it remind you of you a little bit, Brian? You have a similar type of game.
Well, you know what? Although he doesn't, he hasn't scored a lot as of late. I mean, he competes, and we understand how important those face-offs are when he's out there and controlling that puck the last couple of minutes. Like you say, a 3-minute shift is a good game for some guys. Let alone the last 3 minutes of game 5. So he has chipped in. That line has chipped in. I'm just loving the way that they're playing, and they're giving it to the opposition a little bit too. Knuckles hit it on the head. The abuse that Caulfield endured last night with Radish, for gosh sake. I mean, there was probably 4 or 5 times Radish could have easily gotten an elbowing penalty or something. But, Cole never stopped. He kept competing and getting underneath his skin. And I was praying to God that was going to be the turning point, that he was going to get us a power play and get a second of the series. But a great game all in all. I just loved everybody's compete level.
Yeah, that last shift by Deneau was more than half of Brendan Gallagher's ice time for the entire game. Another guy, very impressive, Knuckles, last night, Kirby Dach. I mean, we've spoken about him all season on this podcast. You've spoken about him dealing with injuries and trying to overcome them and how you had to do that in your career. You must have loved what you saw from him last night.
Yeah, listen, he took the puck to the net. Look, right, he made that little stutter step on the wall, gets around the defenseman, got his big body in a position where the guy was on the weak side, and he got to the net. Then he kicks it up to his stick. That's big boy hockey. That's where you're going to score a goal. Look at Brendan Gallagher. Where did he score the goal from? Right in there. He took it to the net. We saw Bolduc do it the game before, right? He took the puck to the net. That's where you're going to get hit. Someone come across on you and cream you there. You got to do that. So he went to the net, to me, like, okay, I'm not going to worry about getting hit. I'm not worried about getting injured here. I'm just going to go play my game. And that's what he did. It was awesome to see that from him. I couldn't be happier for a kid who struggled with so much, the past few years since he came here to Montreal, since he came in the NHL, quite frankly.
Chicago.
Rick, I mean, Mike Matheson had a mistake. He missed the net on one shot, resulted in a 2-on-1 going the other way, and they scored. But he finished with more than 27 minutes of ice time. We're talking about Philip Danault being on the ice for the last 3:31. Matheson and Carey were on the ice for the last 2:25 or something like that. Never came off. What can you say about that pairing together and how they played without having Noah Dobson in the lineup?
Just a huge commitment by those guys. And if you look at the number of shots they blocked, the number of plays they made down in the defensive zone, very seldom did they make errors, and they were really, really dependable, and they showed what they're able to do, and they did it. And thank goodness, we had them, because they broke up a lot of good scoring chances by their positioning and their ability and commitment to getting into the shooting lanes and making it really difficult for a lot of the Tampa Bay players around the net, and all over that defensive zone. So they've really they've done a hell of a job, and it's what is needed, and they're rallying and doing a great job at it.
Hey, Stu,
Yeah.
Stu, I just gotta, how Greeny always blames the forwards, never trusts the forward. If he was ever out there for 2 or 3 minutes, they would have took him off in a body bag, for Christ's sake.
He couldn't stay out for warm up for 2 or 3 minutes, for God's sake. He was already in the dressing room with an ice bag on his head.
You got to come back on that, Rick?
I thought you guys forgot about those years. I was hoping you wouldn't bring them up, but obviously, you look for anything to come back at me. But I can take it.
Mike Matheson, his greatest strength, and I think you guys would agree, is, of course, his skating. And when he's not skating, that, I think, is when the game has caught up to him. And I found him be a little flat-footed that last little bit. So I think the 27 minutes were catching up to him, to be honest.
With Dobson out there, Knuckles, it seems like so many people focus on the mistakes that Matheson has. I know he's a bit of a whipping boy with some fans. How do you balance those things off when you're looking at the game objectively?
Yeah, listen, this time he has the puck all the time. He's under pressure all the time. You're not going to be perfect all the time. It's a game of mistakes. He always has the puck coming out. He's going back and getting it first a lot of times. And, that's a lot of pressure on you all the time. You're going to have there's going to be times you're going to make mistakes. There's going to be times you're going to force it into an area maybe you don't want to, but you have to. That's the safer play. So, I think it's undue, a lot of the criticism. Everybody jumps all over him. Maybe it's because he's from the West Island. But, yeah, listen, he's invaluable. And I think he's really he's embraced that new role. But before Hudson got here, he was the first man on the power play, right?
Yep.
And now he's embracing the penalty kill, the 5-on-5, and getting out there at the second power play time. So, good on him. Like, just keep doing your thing. And Screwy's right. His skating's the best part of his game. And listen, those minutes, they can catch up to you, right? You can tire. But, he's fared really well this series, no question.
Yep. Rick, I wrote a column this week about Carrier and just how he's fearless. Like, for a guy his size, what kind of a boost does that give teammates when they see a little guy like that playing the way he plays?
He's involved, this guy. I mean, physically, he will take a run at guys. He will battle one-on-one. He does a hell of a job in winning a lot of his battles, and his ability to compete. And he's very sound in the defensive zone. If you ever watch his positional play, very seldom does he get caught on the offensive side of things. So he's playing up to his capabilities, and that is keep it simple, be solid, block shots, make the simple plays and the easy plays. And he consistently does that well. And he's a big part of why they're doing so well there back on the blue line.
Dobson, sorry, go ahead, Brian.
No, I totally agree with Greeny. I think he's just been incredible this series, and like you talk about sacrifice, there's a guy that's putting his whole body in front of it. It doesn't matter the time of the game.
Knuckles, I know Arbor Jacki is played well in this series. He's had little glitches here and there, but if Dobson comes back, do you think Arbor's the guy who's coming out of the lineup?
Yeah, I would think so. With the history given when they got healthy. He's the guy who usually comes out. But you look at this series, who knows? But it would probably be him. I'd hate to see it for him. I think he's really fared well in this. And again, he's marked, these asshole referees, like, honestly, they're looking for him. You know, he can't do anything, and they're all over him. Like last night, that was a dead puck. It was covered up when he pulled that guy out there. He got punched in the face.
Yep.
And they don't call the other guy. That Hebert came in, Justin Hebert, whoever he is. Like screw you. So guys like that get targeted. I know what it's like to be targeted like that. Gallagher was early in his career, you know, and it pisses guys off, and it pisses me off to see the referee looking at that when who chopped was it Kucherov chopped Hudson there last night, two-hander. Screw you, and you get a little thing that Abba did, and they give him a penalty. That's what pisses me off about those referees. I get pissed off about the referees. I can't stand them.
Brian Hagel has really been a wrecking crew for Tampa against Montreal. He's a guy he attended the Canadiens rookie camp in 2018, wasn't offered a contract. You were sort of a shutdown forward. What do they have to do to sort of limit the damage he can do in Game 6?
Well, there's another guy that's just stepped in front stage here the last few years, and an incredible hockey player. I mean, he had more opportunities on that power play last night late in the game that I thought, oh my God, they can't give him one more chance at this shot. That little fake that he was doing right down the middle, and then I thought, oh man, his third time through, he's going to figure this out. But thank God we played the way we did against him. I think that, you know, you got to be physical against a guy like that every chance you get. He's going to come back. It doesn't matter what you do to him. But I think overall we've done a pretty good job so far. 6 goals in the series, quite incredible for one person in one series. So hopefully we can shut him down in 6.
I know, Brian. You know, heading into the series, one of the reasons I thought Tampa would win was just the experience factor. When you guys won the Cup in '86, I think it was at 7 rookies you guys had on the team, including you. What was maybe the advantage of the youth versus the experience matchup?
Well, really, that enthusiasm, the idea of every shift, you're ready to go up, and it doesn't matter what happened the shift before, whether you're a minus, whether you're a plus, whether you got nailed, whether you nailed somebody. I mean, it was compete. That was the one thing we understood really early, was that that very first shift of the game could lose it for you or win it for you, and I think it might be Knuckles who said that.
Well, listen, I look at that like, and we had talked. Bob and Larry have been around. We had great leadership, but those young guys, they came in and gave us such a shot of adrenaline and juice. They had that jump, and you know, we had a big team too. We had a tough team. We're a team tough, you know, and you know, having to play against Boston all the time, and Hartford and Buffalo, they were a tough team. Quebec, we were team tough. We were resilient, and those young guys come in and they gave us that jump we needed. There's no question, you know. It was awesome. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jake Evans last night. Incredible game. 12 and 2 in the face-off circle. Like, are you kidding me? So starting with the puck instead of having to chase it down and get it back. Those face-offs are so key. Nick was great in the face-off circle too. Like, I don't know, 10 and 2 or whatever he was, but 3. But the two of them were really good in the dot, and that's key against that team.
Yeah, with Deno and Suzuki in the face-off circle, and Evans. I mean, we're seeing why, you know, Ken Hughes decided to keep Jake Evans last year. Also, you know, we're talking about getting a jump, Rick. The Bell Center is going to be hopping Friday night. I mean, it's going to be insane there. Can the Canadiens close it out? What do they need to do to close out this series and not go back to Tampa?
Well, I think there's obviously no question that the fans are going to lift them up to hopefully big heights, because they're going to be pumped and excited. I think it's going to be really important that they try and find a way to get that first goal, to get that momentum, even though it hasn't worked out in their favor, you know, in a few of the games. But I think that right now they have the upper hand. They have the momentum. They have a good feeling. They've got a lot of guys that are believing in the way they're playing right now. And I think down deep, they're feeling it, that they can take care of these guys in Game 6. And, you know, Dobish is going to have to do his thing again. Same old. And then hopefully you're going to get some of those guys, like the Caulfield, that we've been hoping to find a way to get opportunities to score and make it happen, can make the difference between those close games to pulling off the win, which I'm going to be down and around the area tomorrow, so it's going to be interesting to see and bring back some memories from our years.
Brian, what would you be saying to these guys if you could go in the locker room before the game?
Well, the bottom line is we just hit on it. Every shift, you never know which shift is going to win it or lose it for you. So bring your work hats. Let's go to work again and see if we can get this done in 65 minutes, which probably won't happen. I would think that we're probably into another OT game, which of course I love. Keep playing till 3 a.m. if you want, boys.
Knuckles, I imagine you're going to be at the Bell Center for Game 6. What would you be saying to these guys, and do you think they can close it out?
Yeah, I think, of course they can. Listen, it's been a close series, right? 4-3-2 games, 1-4-3 game, all by a goal, overtime games. What would I say? I would say, listen, don't cheat your teammates. Leave it all out there on the ice. Battle. When you don't have the puck, you're playing defense. Get that goddamn thing back and pay the price out there. Shift in and shift out. Do not take a breather. Get back to the bench and throw the iPad out the window. Take a sip of water. Watch the goddamn game and get ready for your next shift.
Rick, from a mental standpoint, how important is it for them to close it out Game 6 and not have to go back to Tampa?
They don't want to go back to Tampa. Just you don't like that possibility of feeling that. So do whatever you can do to make it happen, and all the details. And I have to say that I think to this date that they have matured a little bit more from the start of the series to see how they've been able to handle a little bit of adversity. And you talk about different hits that have maybe changed momentum. They've looked beyond that. They really have seems a really good understanding of what they need to do and not do. And I'm pretty confident in the group that they've matured to the point where I think they're going to be ready to make it happen and finish that thing off tomorrow.
Brian, do you think the fact the number one line hasn't produced and they're still up 3-2 gives them a bit of a confidence boost maybe overall as a team?
Well, I would think so. And those guys are, they're goal scorers. They want to score. It's not like they've taken time off here. They've been trying their best. And at the end of the day, they end up even against the other line's top line too, or the other team's top line. I mean, they're playing 200-foot hockey game right now. So I would think that that's not going to be the case in Game 6. I think one of them will get on the board again, and we haven't even brought him up, but I thought Slafkovsky's start of his game last night. I thought the first shift, I was thinking, oh, he's going to be a little timid, and there he is banging. And there the second shift, I think he got 2 or 3 hits in. I mean, so that I got rid of that in my thoughts right away. So I'm kind of hoping he can get back on the board as well.
Yeah, and he was also on the ice at the end of the game. They closed down the win for Game 5. Blocked a couple of shots. Got his big body in the way, and that'll be the key again, Game 6. So Game 6, Friday night at the Bell Center. If the Canadiens lose, Game 7 will be back in Tampa on Sunday. That's it for this week's Hockey Inside Out show. We'll have 3 bonus episodes coming up over the next few days with these same 3 guys, so you can look for those. In case you didn't know, Hockey Inside Out is also available now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel.